Hey Wargamers, this past weekend I finally got around to playing with Age of Sigmar, and I know what you're thinking. It's been 2 years since Age of Sigmar was released. Where have you been? What have you been doing? And honestly, the answer is not playing Age of Sigmar. And I think a lot of people are in that same boat, where you played fantasy, Age of Sigmar came out, and you just said, nah, I'm done. I'm not going to do it. And I finally did do it. I finally did engage with Age of Sigmar, and my opinion has really changed on it. And especially within the context of Games Workshop stepping up to the plate, providing the support that we as a community were asking for in terms of a point system for Age of Sigmar in particular, as well as the access to rules and FAQs and other types of materials that we wouldn't have gotten with the old Games Workshop. I think it's fair to reevaluate Age of Sigmar, and that's what I want to talk about today. Is basically a few things that came to mind when I was playing Age of Sigmar last weekend. The first is that I really like how streamlined it is. Now, I did a video about 1.5 years ago talking about how it's too streamlined, it's oversimplified, and that's bad. But really, after playing with it and looking at the FAQs and the other materials that Games Workshop has provided, I really like the simplification. And I think it's something that actually can bring a lot of people who have otherwise walked away from the hobby back into the fold. So last weekend I played with my friends who play dwarves and dark elves, and they had basically stopped playing because it's just not worth their time to try to keep up with everything, and it's very complicated, and if you drop the hobby for a little while, it actually takes some time to get back into it, right? You have to reread the rule book and rememorize all this stuff, and it's a huge pain to get back into it if you've been out of the hobby for a little while. But with Age of Sigmar, it's super easy. It's meant to be something that people can learn right away. You know, it's basically 2 pages of rules, and that's all you got to know. And I really like that. It means that I don't have to spend a bunch of time, you know, raking my brain about what unit is best, what is the best choice, what's the optimal thing. You know, it's simple, and it's, you know, more relaxing and enjoyable in some ways because of that. So I don't feel like I have to have a ton prepared in order to play a good Age of Sigmar game, and I like that. Kind of along that same line, there isn't equipment, right? And this is something I didn't talk about in my old video, but the fact that a unit is just a unit and it has X, Y, and Z abilities, or, you know, really probably just X and Y abilities, or maybe just X abilities. You know, there's generally a very simplified rule set for each unit. That's nice. I don't have to worry, oh, should I take this bow or that bow or whatever. And well, I'm sad that this awesome Wood Elves book basically, well, does nothing for Age of Sigmar. It's nice to have everything in a streamlined format, and I don't have to buy a book to get the rules. They come online. They come with the models. It's easy access, and that's great. That's what the community had been asking for. Do I like this book? The Wood Elf book that came out, you know, 2 years ago? Yeah, but do I like the business model of Age of Sigmar? Yes, I like it a lot more. So there's that. Kind of along the lines of rules and how fun they are. Something else I like about Age of Sigmar is that it doesn't take itself too seriously. So like in the game that I played last weekend with dwarves, you can do grudges if you have a beer in your hand. That's not something that you would have in Warhammer Fantasy Battles, but that's something that I really like in my game. So fun rules like that are kind of cool, and I like it. And yes, it's not the most competitive thing, but it's fun, it's enjoyable, and that's what the hobby needs, is something to be engaging and enjoyable like that. Of course, you can augment those rules or alter those rules in a way that's more competitive if you'd like, as is done in tournament scenes, but it's great to have them there if you want to use them. Yeah, so another thing is that the way that they organize things in terms of keywords, I think, is really helpful. So, everything has a series of keywords that identify explicitly what demographics it belongs to. Is it a wizard? Is it an elf? Is it a dwarf? Is it X, Y? We can go on and on about the different keywords, but all those keywords are important when figuring out how rules work and which models they apply to. And so having those keywords is actually really nice. And I wish 40K had something similar where, like for Space Marines, for example, there's always the issue, well, is my Grey Knight a Space Marine? Is my Dark Angels a Space Marine? Or are just Space Marines, or what is a Space Marine? And yes, they address this in FAQs, and yes, they address this in some rules, but it'd be a whole lot easier if just every unit had a list of keywords that said, okay, this is a wizard, so all rules that apply to wizards apply to this model. I think that's really cool. And yeah, I think overall it's a robust rule set. It's built to have legs. It's not being weighed down and having too many axioms that prevent future growth. It's flexible, and I really like that. So overall, I just kind of wanted to come back and say that Age of Sigmar, if you haven't actually given it a shot, especially now that Games Workshop has provided more support for it, I would really encourage you to do so. And to boot, the models are fantastic. I really am looking forward to the new models that come out for Age of Sigmar, just because of the sculpts themselves. Do I want to play Stormcast Eternals? No way. The models are cool. The sculpts are great. Not really my thing, but I respect the sculpt. The other types of sculpts that they've come out with have been fantastic. The level of detail is amazing. And that's just an added bonus. So you get cool models, you get usable rules that you don't have to break your back to understand and implement. And the game is fast-paced, relaxing, and flexible, and all those things are great. So if you haven't given it a shot, please do. And yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below, especially if you haven't had a chance to play Age of Sigmar yet, or if you were in the same boat as me saying, I'm not going to play Age of Sigmar, and then you gave it a shot. I'd really like to hear what you think. So thanks for watching, and of course, happy wargaming.